All right, in this demonstration, I want to show you how you can connect to the mat.miracosta.edu server using CyberDuck. So first thing I want to show you really quick, I'm on a Windows computer right now. I try to switch back and forth sometimes between using Mac and Windows. But anyway, if you were to go to download CyberDuck, one of the things that you need to just be aware of is that sometimes, you know, this screen might change, but just be careful not to immediately just like click the thing that says start download, because that's not CyberDuck. You'll notice it says update Windows 10 drivers, blah, 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 whatever. You want to come down here and make sure you're choosing the right version here, either for your Mac or Windows computer. So I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that started now. Okay, so the first thing I want you to notice is if for some reason on a Mac, when you connect, you see a bunch of different icons here for the first time, don't worry about any of that right now. Just ignore them. That doesn't mean that something's wrong with your installation. So what you want to do first is go over here where it says Open Connection, and this is going to look basically the same in a Mac. And the first thing you'll probably see is that it's on FTP, File Transfer Protocol, and it chooses port 21 by default. Well, what you really want to do, if you want to connect to the mat.miracosta.edu server, or if you were connecting to any other secure server using SFTP, is you need to go up here and choose SFTP from the list. And then here next you would type mat.miracosta.edu like that. And then the port number, you need to just make sure it says 22. That's very important, otherwise it won't work. Under username, you would put your W number in case you know your W number was like W1234567 or something like that. That's where you would put that. You'd put your W number. In my case, I have to use something a little different. This is my username, but in your case, it'll be your W number that you use to get into Surf, or use to get into like the enrollment system or your learning management system. Okay. And then the password is going to be the same one that you use to get into Surf as well. Okay, so I'm going to type mine. And you can choose to save the password. And on a Mac, it'll say remember in my keychain. So you would want to check that. And you can look at more options, but right now, don't worry about that. Okay, just go ahead and click on connect. And what it will do is ask you if you want to allow this unknown fingerprint. First of all, click always or remember my setting or whatever it happens to say, and you want to say allow. And that way it won't always say the same thing every single time you try to connect to the server. And what that's going to do is it takes you up to this top level here of the server that you have access to. And it's taking you up to the top level of the web directory. Let me show you something really quickly. So what you can do is you can open a browser. I'll open Internet Explorer. Let's do that. Okay, I'm on Windows. You can open Safari or Chrome or whatever else you happen to like to use instead. Okay, and then I'm going to, up here in the URL, I want to show you something so that you can see how to correspond. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go up into the address bar of my browser and I'm going to type mat.miracosta.edu. And if I were to put a / here, you would see all these different folders that I could look at. Well, one of the things you'll notice here is there's a whole bunch of different stuff here. If you're connecting to this, then your instructor should have told you, you know, what you need to be connecting to. Let's just use as an example, let's use, let's go down here and we'll check Matt 125_Cotner. So let's do, after that / we'll do Matt 125_Cotner. And then if you go to that, what you see is a parallel experience, right? All right, so this, when you go into SFTP, what it's doing is it's putting you into the actual file system of the computer, right? Sort of like if the server had Windows Explorer or if it had a Mac Finder or something like that, where you can actually save files, delete files, upload, download, so forth, move files around, rename files, things like that. But when you want to go look at what is on the server through a browser, this is called HTTP. all right? It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP is what a browser uses to read or view web files, okay? That is different than SFTP. SFTP stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol. Very, very different. Sometimes you'll have access through SFTP or FTP, but you won't actually be able to look at them on the web, depending on how the permissions have been set up. Any kind of class that I teach where I tell you that we also have web access in addition to SFTP, then that means that you could go on a browser and you could actually type the address like this, like I just showed you, okay? So I'm going to put this off to the side, this browser window. Let's go back to our file transfer protocol. So as I said before, what it does is it puts you at the top level, and you see it says /web, and you'll notice up here it doesn't say web anywhere. Well, what it's doing is it's resolving this domain, matt.miracosta.edu, to a folder on this server that's called web, so that it knows to look in the web folder whenever it's calling up the domain, okay? So in case you get confused about that, these two positions of the address are basically, I don't want to say that they're the same, they're not like identical, but they are in the same position. So matt.miracosta.edu domain resolves whenever a user makes a request through a browser, it resolves to this web folder. Okay, so anyway, what you would do then is you would just find the folder that you're looking for, you know, for whatever your teacher has told you, whether it's me or some other teacher, and then you would go to it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this demo here, and then the next demo will be specifically for our class.